collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Court Class Dinobot Snarl from the Transformers Legacy Evolution line from Hasbro. So this is our final Dinobot. We'll have all 6 now. We can fully form Volcanicus. Very excited to pick this one up. But also, he just looks fantastic. I think this looks like a really cool Core Class figure. Some nice artwork of the Stegosaurus mode here on the top. Some nice artwork of the robot mode over here on the side. Of course, we have the plastic-free packaging, so you can reach right in and see the figure. And then we have our typical evolution picture here on the side. On the back, part 6 of 6 for Volcanicus. And we have some product shots for the robot mode and the dino mode. I'm excited for this guy, so I'm going to go ahead, get him out of the box here, and we're going to take a closer look. Here is Snarl out of the packaging, and I got to say, he's pretty great, honestly. Really fantastic little figure here. I would put him up there, like him and Swoop, probably the 2 best ones out of all 6, if I'm being honest. They really did a good job. They kind of got better as they went, or maybe they just released them that way, so you didn't, give up halfway through when you got disappointed. In any case, putting Sludge out early was the right call. This guy is great. He really looks good. Head sculpt is nice. Nice blue paint there for the eyes. The silver on the face looks good. He's got the tail wings up here. Really looks sharp. Nice red paint all here on the chest. Head can move from side to side. The wing tail pieces here can kind of move, but it doesn't really make sense to move them in robot mode. You have a ball joint here for the shoulder. Now, technically, you do have kind of a butterfly joint because of the transformation. For the foot mode, this is used primarily for the foot mode, but if you want to use it for the robot mode articulation, you can. You have a bend there in the elbow. I want to say maybe 120, something like that. Nothing in the wrist, obviously, but it is nicely painted black. I appreciate that. You have a waist swivel, which is great. Ball joint here in the hip. Kick really far forward, kick really far back, kick out to the side. You have knees, which can go almost a full 180 because of the transformation. You got the little dino head hidden there inside the leg. I mean, he's really great. Honestly, he's really great. My only complaint, well, 2 little complaints. There's such an obvious little spot here for an Autobot symbol. I wish they had painted one on. Obviously, I'm sure it's a budget thing because he's got really nice silver paint down here on the legs. A lot of nice molded detail and everything. Maybe I can get a sticker or something. He needs an Autobot symbol there. Only other complaint really is I kind of wish he had a little bit better heels. He kind of like sits here and they don't quite hit the ground, and depending on how you have the weight distributed, he tends to want to fall backwards a little bit. Oh, also he does come with 2 accessories. I forgot to put this on here. So you have this piece, which you can see you have these 2 tabs right here, which will peg into here. And then this will peg into this circle spot right here. So we go ahead and pop that on. So that fills out the back a little bit better. Gives him some more spikes. And then he also has a tiny little sword. Wish that was a little bigger, but really not a deal breaker. It looks pretty good. It's a fun little sword. I also think how most of them have, I think it's funny most of them have guns and Snarl's the only one with a sword. But I guess he's pretty synonymous with having a sword. So I guess it makes sense. But yeah, all in all, really fantastic robot mode. I just think they did a really nice job. He's definitely one of my favorites. Definitely in the top 3 of all the Dinobots they've done. Really just looks great. Quick little group shot of all the Dinobots. Honestly, I think Swoop and Snarl are probably my 2 favorites. But Scar, Slug, and Grimlock are pretty decent. Sludge, you are all the way in the back where you belong. Getting into the transformation for Snarl, I'm going to go ahead and take his sword, put that off to the side. We are going to take the head, rotate it 180 degrees, like that. And then we can close the tail up around the head. And those pieces will peg into each other to give him quite a dinky little tail, but it'll work. Then we're going to bend the elbows as much as we can. We are going to take the knees and bend them about 90 degrees, which will allow you to flip out the dino head, like so. We're going to take these tabs here on the side of the abdomen and peg them into these spots over here, which can be a little easier said than done. I feel like it gets a little bit easier each time I do it, but the first couple times they're kind of tight to get it lined up and pegged in there. Then we're going to just peg the two legs together. Now, I had a lot of difficulty with this as well, too. It didn't really want to bend. Obviously, this is going to close up like almost 180 degrees, but it just wouldn't go the first couple times, and I really just kind of had to push it, and it scared me, but it's gotten easier now. So if you're having difficulty, just kind of keep it going, but just be careful of what you're doing. It will eventually close up. So here we go. Here is our Snarl in Dino mode. Now, I don't love the robot hands just hanging out the back. It would be great if there was a way that they could have folded in here, especially since these are very hollow. That would have been great, but I understand that there's, you know, just not budget for that. Even if we could have just turned them, I don't know if that would have been better. The back legs aren't great, but the whole front section here I think looks great. All the plates look really good. Tail's a little dinky, but it can work. I think it's fine. If you want, you can store the sword here in this little slit on top. Looks kind of goofy, but you can do it. I always have difficulty, though. It really doesn't want to peg in here. I know it can, and it's going to. There we go. So, it's okay. You can store that there if you want. I usually just put it off to the side. But he is a cool little Stegosaurus. I think he looks pretty great. And of course, we have to get a full group shot of the Dinobots here in Dino mode. All looking pretty great. Even Sludge looks a little better in Dino mode. So really fun to have all 6 of these together. Alright, so transforming from the Stegosaurus into the leg of Volcanicus, we are going to go ahead and unpeg this section here. And then flip this back around, although mine is very tight, but it can be done. We'll actually just split this apart. I think it'll make it a little bit simpler. Then we can get this to about here. Flip the dino head back inside the leg, like so. And then peg these back together like that. Remove this back section, and this is actually going to come up. And now these 2 tabs will tab into these 2 spots, like so. There we go. We're going to unattach the arms from those pegs on the side, and then we're going to straighten them out. We're going to bring them inward on those butterfly joints I talked about earlier. And then these tabs right here have to peg into these 2 spots here, which can be a little difficult, honestly. But if you just pop in there, there's little clips, so they will connect, and then you're going to take this and connect it onto here on the front to kind of make almost like a front toe section. And then we just have to flip out the connector here, and we are good to go. It's a very strange looking foot, but it is a foot. Again, if you want to store the sword here, you can. Again, I think it looks a little weird, but if you want him to have a sword on the front of his foot, you can do so. So let's bring in the rest of Volcanicus here and attach our final leg. And there we go. This monstrosity is Volcanicus. It's all right. It's very strange. It's just, I appreciate what they were trying to do. And I mean, it's a robot. You know, they all combine together. But it's very strange. Trying to get him to stand here. I'll probably have to unbend him at the knees and make the weight come a little forward. So, I mean, it's the first, like, core... Well, I can't even say that. It's not really the first core class combiner if you think about all the way back in Transformers Prime, we did have the Terracons. That was a combiner, and that was actually pretty cool, and that worked fairly well. I would say that was probably as successful as this. He's not bad. Now, I know the whole reason they did this was because they're going to retool / repaint these into Dino King from Victory, and I'll be interested to see how that turns out. I mean, it holds together well. I mean, I can't really complain. It's nice, solid connections. You know, the arms, the legs, the 2 pieces for the torso, all very solid. I mean, he's not going anywhere. You have a head swivel. You have a swivel here at the shoulder as well as a hinge. You can kind of use you know, these elbow joints and or knee joints, I should say, for these guys to try to get yourself some elbows for. And you can move some of this around. I mean, depending on how you want to position some of these things, you can kind of make some clearance choices and move some stuff around and get him a little bit more in terms of arm articulation. I mean, you really have like a full ball joint here and a ratchet. So he's got pretty decent hips. You have this kind of bend here at these joints as well as a spin. You do have a waist swivel as well. So, I mean, honestly, as far as a combiner goes, it's not bad in terms of articulation. He looks a bit a mess, but honestly, he could look worse. He's fun. I mean, you know, is he the most functional bot around? Probably not, but, you know, it's 5 or 6 dinosaurs merged together into a larger robot. I mean, that's fun. I think that's kind of neat. Size comparison wise, who can I grab quickly that will be easy to show you? How about Armada Megatron? So he's definitely not as tall as Armada Megatron. Here is Voyager class Seeker drone, whatever that guy's name was from that troop builder pack. So I would say Volcanicus is basically the size of a Voyager class figure, slightly taller than a Voyager class, maybe. You can give him the dinky little sword if you would so like. He's not doing much with it, but he's got it, and he's ready to go. So I think that's kind of cool. I mean, was it necessary? No. I'm personally the kind of person who would rather just have a fun Dinobot figure. I don't need them to be combiners. I know that's been kind of a thing recently. Back in Power of the Primes, they did it. They're doing it again here. I mind it less with the core class because I don't need them to be amazing, like, Deluxe or Voyager class figures on their own. A lot of times when you have combiners, something suffers, you know, some kind of articulation point or something because it has to do too many things. With the core class, I'm much more okay with sacrificing little articulation points for something like this because they're just tiny and fun. Whereas, you know, if they're Deluxe or Voyagers, you know, you get a lot more upset if they're missing specific articulation points, things like that. So, yeah, I think it's kind of neat. They were able to pull this off pretty well. I think Snarl's pretty great. I mean, he's definitely in the top half of the Dinobots for me. I'd probably put him at either like number 2 or number 3. He's really great, looks really great, great articulation, great paint applications. You know, his little sword is okay. I wish it was a little bigger, but I totally get it. He looks great in robot mode and dino mode. The foot mode is a little goofy looking, but it's nice to finally have Volcanicus done, and I think that really came out better than I was expecting. It's just kind of fun to have a core class combiner, and like I said, it's a little bit more forgiving to lose certain little articulation points when in service to the combiner, except for Sludge. I'm sorry. Sludge is one of my favorite Dinobots, and he did not get done justice, and I'm never going to let that go. In any case, I think this guy's a lot of fun. Even if you don't care about the combiner and you just want a fun little Dinobot core class figure, this guy's great. I mean, like I said, he looks good in both modes. He definitely needs an Autobot symbol here on the chest. That's like my biggest complaint. And it's a little difficult getting him to stand. Sometimes I wish he had a little better heels. But other than that, he's really great. I love him. And I definitely recommend checking him out. Whether you want the combiner or not, he's still a fun little core class figure. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.